Buenos dias, Gunners Collective TV. Back at it, you already know. Like a torta with a snack habit. Bye up, bye up. Let's get to the intro. Welcome back to Gunners Collective TV. If you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button. Put your notification bell on all so that way you're directing the direction of the dope content that the gun is kicking. And I highly appreciate all the support, man. Thank you very much. I'm humbled. So last night I woke up, okay, 3 in the morning. I'm up, the witching hour. I can't sleep. And so I go to TikTok and I'm scrolling. I see two J-Cats fighting over whose fucking baño was darker, right? And, the typical scante activities are going on. And I'm looking for content creation purposes, right? I'm looking to see if there's anything being talked about that I could possibly give my 2 cents in. What's going on? And I come across an old clip, an interview that was conducted by Negra from Indicted TV. Shout out that podcast. I actually watch that channel. That's one of the channels I do watch that I do like because I could see that woman trying to help the community rather than tear it down, right? She was interviewing Chito Ranas. Okay, and so as I start to watch the interview, because I'm interested in it, something popped out. And I noticed it, and I kind of was like, wow, okay, wow, right? Something that I never thought I'd see, but it's understanding. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. So as I continue to scroll, right, I see people already done picked up on what I picked up on. Now, all of a sudden, you know how it is, smartphones and shit, things start popping up. And I see all these little shorts about the incident, about what he said in his own words, exposing himself, basically. So this is the way it goes. As a gang member, right, as an active gang member, when you get to any jail facility, prison, reception, whatever it is, the cops are going to ask you where you are to be placed. They're going to ask you, they're going to try to trick you into giving up the ghost, giving up your status, giving up if you're affiliated, who you are. Now, the tattoos that you have on your body are going to tell the story. You don't have to say anything. If you have any identifying marks, 14s, 13s, depending upon where you're from, Crip, blood, whatever, that's pretty much going to give the cops the go-ahead into putting you wherever they want to put you. Now, if you're being an asshole, if you're talking shit to cops, I've seen situations where they will place you in your enemy's pod. You know, if there's no room, if there's just a cop that just doesn't give a fuck, or they want to see something crack, they're going to place you wherever they place you. Now, as an active gang member, when you're participating in the shenanigans, you got to participate no matter what, okay? If they say, hey, what are you? What do you claim? I've been asked many times. This is the answer you're supposed to give them. Hey, put me wherever you want to put me, man. If they say, are you a norteño? Hey, look, man, put me wherever you're going to put me. You know, you're going to do what you're going to do, man. This is your jail. I'm just in it, right? If you're a Southsider, it's the same thing. The moment that you tell them, hey, I'm a Southerner, or hey, I'm a Northerner, I can't be over here or I can't be over there, then immediately that right there is PC activities. That right there is not being gamed up enough to know what the fuck you're doing. Because what's going to happen is the cops are going to place you either one of two places. They're going to place you somewhere you really don't want to be. And if you go into a pod, man, that could be your last breath, right? Or they're going to put you in with your homies, but after you already requested to go in with your homies, you've already said, hey, I'm a Southsider or a Northerner and I can't go over there. Well, that's all bad. That's going to go on your paperwork, and they're going to read that, and they're going to be like, hey, homie, why didn't you get off on them fools? You had action at getting into their pod and getting off. What happened? What happened, homie? Where you at? I thought you were a hardcore gangbanger. Why wouldn't you go over there with the Norte or the Sur? That's just how that is, right? Now, in this interview with Indicted TV, she's asking questions. She's asking about Chito Ranas' first time ever being in a county jail, and he said he was in Sacramento County Jail. Now, for those of you that don't know, Sacramento is the capital of California. It's in Northern California. It's a dangerous county jail. I've been there. Okay, I only stood there for 2-3 days on a layover going to Tracy on a violation, but I've been there, right? And, they have different pods. And I remember I was placed there in the pod, and it was a trip. They gave us a bowl of soup and a sandwich at like 5 a.m. for fucking lunch. It was crazy. That's one of those places they starve you out of existence. If you don't wake up early as fuck in the morning to get your breakfast and your lunch, you ain't eating all day till dinner, and it's all bad. Anyways, I remember coming out, man. At the time I was active, they put me in a Norteño pod. I came out, the homeboys immediately were on me like, hey, what's up? Where you from? Whoop-de-whoop. Now, again, when I pulled up to that county jail myself, in booking, they had me, of course, in booking downstairs. It takes you forever to get upstairs, right? They had me with a whole bunch of riffraff characters. It was one Norteño that was in there from Sacramento 14th Ave. We were chilling. But when they took us up, or when they took us to go get us fingerprinted and all that, they asked, gang affiliation. I said, nope. They said, so if we put you, and they already knew I was a northerner, right? I had the Huelga bird on my stomach and everything. They took the pictures. The gang cops took the pictures and all that. They said, so if we put you with the Southsiders, right, on the west side, you're going to be all right? And I said, I'm from the west side. Yeah, I don't give a fuck where you put me, right? You know, in my mind, I said, you're going to place me wherever you place me, you know? I'll figure it out when I get there. And that's the mentality. Get off where you're mad at. You figure it out when you get there. More than likely, 99% of the time, they're going to place you with your people. They just want to see if you're stupid enough to fall for the inquisition they're doing, for the, you know, the interview they're conducting. Now, like I said, I have seen situations where they place people in other places, and then it is what it is. But I was just basically like, I mean, throw me wherever. Fuck it. You know what I mean? Hey, throw me like the movie 300 out there in the forest. I'll come back with the lion pelt, or I won't come back at all. It just depends on how it is there. So I went to the Northern Pod. That was that. Did a couple days. It was over the weekend. They dropped me off on a Friday because they extradited me from out of state. Flew me in. Was there Friday. Got out Monday. Boom. Went to Tracy. Picked up fucking my violation and say la vie. There it was. So Chito Ranas is doing this interview with Indicted TV, and she asked him about his first time in county jail. And he was like, hey, fuck, hey, right? He was like, the first time I went to county jail was in Sacramento, where, of course, it's Norteño top heavy, meaning there's more Northerners than there are Southsiders. They do have a pod or a side where they put Southerners. They also have pods where they put non-active dropout gang members and then the active Northerners, general population, right? They separate everyone in Sacramento County Jail because Sacramento County Jail is basically, there's a lot of gang violence that happens there. So anyways, when asked, he told her, yeah, they were walking him down the hallway and they were taking him to the east. Now, the east side of the county jail, right? And they have different levels, different floors, is where the Norteños are housed, right? So he said that he told them, hey, where are we going? And they're like, we're going to the east. And he was like, nah, I'm a Southsider. I got to go to the west. My people are over there. Now, immediately to those that know what's up, when I said that, people went, that is considered a PC move, okay? Alerting authorities that there could be a dangerous situation or that you got a sensitive need. You're in trouble if you go there. You're not supposed to do that. Now, I understand it was his first time ever in county jail. He's young. He probably wasn't laced up, gamed up enough to know, right? And I know some real Southsiders been around him, right? I know that if they knew that that's what he did, they'd be pretty fucking disappointed in him. They'd be like, hey, homie, you had a chance to get at this fucking busters this thing. You didn't do it, right? That's how they would feel. Northerners, it would have been a wrap. You'd have got whacked. If you go in there and be like, hey, yeah, they were trying to take me over there to the Southerners, but I told the cop, fuck that, I'm a homie. I want to be over here. Tas. It's over. Tas. Double up. Now, when he said that, I had a Homer Simpson moment. Like, what the fuck? But I started thinking about it. Okay. So basically, and to continue his story, they end up putting him in the Northern Pod anyways. And he's talking about he came out and then, you know, the Northerners got off on him. He got jumped or whatever, which is going to happen. You know, I've never seen a Southerner get placed with the Northerners get placed with Southerners in county jail. Where I come from, they keep us very separated. It was on the blocks. The Southsiders were always on one block behind glass, and they had the Northerners, you know, on 3 block or 4 block, depending upon the era that you were there. Those that know. And so I never seen them make a mistake. But obviously, they chose to put Chito wherever they chose to put him. Now, understand this. His first time in county jail, he's young. You know, if you guys recall, Chito didn't have all those tattoos all over his face, all those identifying marks, the campo, all that on him when he probably first went to county jail. He was a little heavier set, looked a little paisa-ish. Let's just keep it real. You know, he was real heavy accent. So I'm sure they thought he was just a paisa and they could play some, because the paisas, they'll play some with the Southerners, some with the Northerners. They'll put them wherever they want to put them. And there's usually no issues or no problems, right? So unless it's like a paisa that's been in prison that functioned with the Southsiders, you know, he was chilling with them. And the cops know. They got your whole history right there. They know what's up. Like I said, they could be assholes and put you where they want to put you, but more than likely, they're going to put you and place you where you need to be. Anyways, they put him there. He got jumped on. Whatever. The moral to that story is he refused. He didn't refuse because ultimately he went in there, which is cool, but he alerted the authorities to his affiliation. Now, back in the days, you didn't want to do that because that could have got you a validation point. You know, letting them know that you're an active gang member is a validation point. Letting them know you're from a certain border is a validation point. Pictures of you kicking with other dudes from different neighborhoods that are closely associated or fall under the same umbrella was a validation point. 3 points, you're gone, right? You're getting validated, you're stuck. Like Chuck, there's a lot of dudes I've seen get validated fast, right? When they get into fucking reception in prison because they didn't know enough to know enough, right? So I'm going to give Chito Ranas the benefit of the doubt and saying, did he expose his hand on indicted TV and basically tell on himself? Yeah, and there's a lot of people that are keying in on that. All the hardliners, all the hardcore gangsters, that most of them that never even been anywhere, right, are like, that's PC shit. You can't fucking tell them what. Here's the thing. When you're young and you don't know no better and you're not gamed up, there's still squirt behind your ears, right? I understand. See, I've seen homeboys in that situation. I remember in the county jail, we got a young homeboy and he came in, right? And as he's walking in, as they're walking him down the block, right, I could hear the cops like, oh, yeah, man, active Norteño block. Before they even open the door, you could hear. He's like, yeah, this is where all my homies are at. Boom. Immediately, the homie got at him like, hey, what do you mean, bro? What were you telling that black guy? He was like, I was just telling him, man, I'm a homeboy. And yeah, this is the black. This is where I should be at. And he came that close to getting whacked, right? But the homeboys took into account at the time that he was young. He didn't know. And of course, I spoke up for him. I've always been an advocate for the youth, right? I was like, hey, look, don't do the homie like that. He don't know no better. You know, he's not gamed up enough to know. No one laced him up. Hey, all his big homies are too busy doing time, defending the yardas and the fucking cause, while this guy's out here doing skante, riding beach cruisers, hitting people with zip guns and shit, doing crazy shit. Leave him alone, right? So he got the pass, but another homeboy of mine didn't get the pass. Okay, another homeboy of mine, a very close homeboy of mine, solid as fuck, a super Norteño, someone who was in the YA system, county jail system several times, wasn't his first rodeo. He knew what time it was, right? But what happened was he was Mexicano, like Paisa too. Okay, he had a big old XIV behind his ear, but unless you really look close, you didn't know. And I don't know how the cop overlooked his record, but for whatever, they put him in 2 block, which was general population, meaning blacks, whites, paisas, others. That's where they put him. Now, there was no Norteños there because in the Merced County Jail, they put all the Norteños on a block. They put all the Southsiders on a block. And everyone considers that Norteño block, Southsider block, whatever. That's how they do it. They separate the gang members from the general population. You're still GP, you're still mainline, but you have your own block. It's segregated. It's the way they want it. It's the way it's always been, right? And so they put the homeboy on 2 block. So immediately he wrote a wheel out to the block to the homies. Like, hey, bro, I'm over here. I'm trying to get over there and chill with you. He just wanted to chill with the homies, like, you know, all the homies from his barrio, Northerners. And the homeboy wrote him a letter back like, nah, stay there, establish that. And see, as in the Norteño cause, that's what you want. That's the same thing. If you get to a yard, a southern yard, say I go to a southern yard by myself, I can't PC up off that yard. I can't tell the cops, hey, I can't be here. I can't do the Chito Ranas. I'm supposed to be over there, not over here. I can't do that. I have to fucking plant my flag, take my shirt off, and maintain on that yard as long as I can. Now, of course, I'm probably going to get jumped on, stabbed, beat on, whatever. You got to understand that's the name. That's the name of the game, right? That's going to happen. It's part of what you signed up for, right? Now, of course, not everyone does that. A lot of people are like, fuck that, chale, put their shirt on, tie it around their neck and run, right? But that's what you're supposed to do as a Norteño, as a Southsider too. You know, I've been told by real solid Southerners that anytime one Southerner, one Southsider gets to any yard, that's their yard. They feel they control that yard. That belongs to them. That's the mentality. That's the mentality you're supposed to have as a Northerner as well as anyone. And so I've been in a situation. I've told you guys stories where I got to a yard. I didn't last too long, but I went to that motherfucker, took my shirt off, and got jumped on, right? And it just is how it is. So anyways, the homeboy, he's over there. The homeboy's riding a wheelie like, no, stay there, establish. You know what time it is. He never gets the wheelie. It gets snatched up in the process. A little homeboy was taken into court to give it to someone on 2 block to give it to him. The Africano gets caught with it, right? Because he's on that block with blacks and whites. Africano ends up getting caught with it. So the communication was never there. So when the homeboy didn't receive no communication, he thought it was A-okay to go. So he told the blocker, hey, man, I'm a northerner. I got to go to the block with the homies. That's just what it is. They rolled him up and sent him to the block. He was stabbed 17 times for that. Okay, he lived. It's my homeboy. He's now deported in Tijuana, working at a call center. But that was a fucking cold game. I was in county jail because I would have tried to prevent that too, because I understood where he was coming from. He didn't know no better. He knew better, but at the same time, he was just trying to get over to chill with the homies. See, it ain't all about chilling all the time. The party has to end sometimes. Sometimes it's about being a man and standing on your own 2 feet and recognizing and understanding that if you represent something, Norte or Sur or anything, Crip, Blood, doesn't matter, Latin Kings, Vice Lords, Haitians, right? We've been patiently waiting since the game came back, right, with a butterfly on his face. Look, all that matters at the end is that you represent your team, your home team, your winning team, Bozo, the blue team, right? As long as you can and to the best of your capabilities. Then when you get somewhere, what happened, bro? They're going to eventually push you on your block, right, where you're supposed to go. You're going to come through leaking or fucked up a little bit. What happened? Damn, they put me over there, bro. Fuck, you know what it was, man. I had to get off. As soon as I came out the cell, it was on. That's right, bro. That's what you're going to get. All that getting your ass whooped and all that gangster shit is all for 2 things. One, for, that's right, home. That's right, eh? That's what you're going to get. Or 2, you're not going to get validated. You know, when Chito Ranas said what he said, like I said, I had a Homer Simpson moment of, oh, but at the same time, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt because he was young. And even still, you know, how laced up he is, having been in prison and been around who he's been around, I still question his education when it comes to being a gang member, because you're going to sit there on a podcast, man, that you know a lot of people watch, a lot of people from Southern California watch, a lot of Southsiders watch, right? And you're going to say, oh, yeah, man, they were trying to put me with the Norteños. And I was like, hell no, bro, I got to go over here with my people. You know, that right there to some, like I said, hardliners is a protective custody move. You cannot refuse movement. You cannot refuse to go anywhere. You know, I've been in predicaments one time, man. I was going to medical in Tracy, right? And I seen like 4 Southsiders right there, horns everywhere. There was bald heads and horns everywhere. I knew those were Southsiders, right? Shit, you couldn't miss that shit. LA's horns and bat wings. That's Southside, right? And I'm walking by medical, man, and the cop stops. And he gets a call on his fucking walkie-talkie, and he places me against the fence. Right? He has me on the wall, and he's gonna place me against the fence. These dudes are in this cage, Southerners, right? And I'm like, oh, these fools are gonna get at me. And he places me against, and I could have told the cop, hey, no, you can't place me in the cage. Man, they put me on the cage. I got socked through the cage. Boom! Right? I haven't told that story yet. I got to tell that story. But that's what happened. I just took it. North did, right? I just took it because I understood that if any homeboys were in any area or anyone was watching and they're like, if I'd have said, no, hey, no, the Southsiders, you got to keep me on the wall, the separation, then I would have been all bad. Then I would have had to look in the mirror in the morning and been like, damn, man, you're a coward. That's a cowardice act. You know, I know to regular people that are watching, it's like, it's not that serious, man. He just didn't want to get beat up or jumped. Well, ultimately, it happened anyways, right? But when you're living a gangster lifestyle, when you're getting tattoos representing a certain entity all over you, when you're, you know, throwing up gang signs and showing guns and doing this in music videos or whatever, you know, you got to stand on your principles. You got to stand on your integrity, your morals, and your values. And, hey, I get it, man. Gang banging ain't the shit, right? It's not something that you would say has any integrity in it. But within that lifestyle, there is, okay? There's rules, regulations, procedures, proper protocol, standards, and, of course, politics. And all that right there, you know, means that you're supposed to stand on what you believe in, 10 toes down. So, you know, let me know what you think. Do you think Chito Ranas was wrong for saying that? Do you think he slipped up and just was in the moment right there with Negra looking at her beautiful eyes and was like, damn, I forgot to I should have held that in? Or do you think people are making more of it than it is? You know, I'm going to be honest with you. I've never done that. I've went places, believe me, I knew I was going to get fucked up. I didn't want to go. Like, fuck, man, I ain't trying to go in there, man. I went to Nellis. Fred C. Nellis as a youngster, Southern California. You think I wanted to get off that bus? They didn't have to pry me off the bus. I just walked off that motherfucker. Got jumped on the first night, riot time. Got in a fight the next day. Kept getting in fights throughout the 3 years I was there. Kept going to that school area. Never refused on movements. Never did that. Why? And full sip their gun is a sucker. He's a coward. He's a bitch. None of you... 99% of you guys would have not have did that. Believe me. What was it? It was stupidity, a young mind not being laced up enough to know, and the heart of a motherfucking lion. Rawr! That's what I did. Tony the Tiger. Anyways, with that being said, man, did Chito Ranas expose himself in the Sacramento County jail? He still went into the pot and took flight, or they took flight on him, according to his story, right? But, you know, I've seen two situations now with the Vato where it's like, I don't know. That situation in the probation officer, I gave him a pass because it's like, I understand there's law enforcement. You ain't trying to get locked up. Vato kind of deboed on him for clout, whatever, right? Give him that one. Or you could look at it the other way. He was getting punked and didn't make a move like you should have. Get off where you're mad at, right? Anybody can get it. Everybody killer, all that shit. But in this situation, man, he was actually, you should be laced up enough to know. But of course, this was his very first time in county jail, so he's going to get a pass. And it's crazy because the people that like his music don't care. He's still a hardcore gangster. He's still fucking on OTR. He's still got gangster music. They still think he's the shit, right? But you could be all that, show guns, gang signs, and all that. But what really counts in that lifestyle is how you present your motherfucking self when you're locked up. Because that's what really counts. Out here doesn't, man, in that life. With that being said, thumbs up or thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to strive, struggle, and strive for what I truly believe in. That's the betterment of all people. I'm not doing this to put Chito Ranas on blast. I love his music. I like Chito Ranas. In fact, I understand and I agree that that was his first time in county and he didn't know no better, you know, but it is what it is. The gun. Bang, bang.